Hello, everyone. We are live on WOLFpak TV here. I'm your host, Wendy Fortino, and we have an exciting show. Greg, I'm so sorry to cut you off. You were just in the middle of talking about your awesome car. But let me introduce our guests here because we have some legendary guests here. Let me first introduce Greg Valentino. Greg is a bodybuilding icon, controversial figure. He's known for a lot of things, and we're going to dive into that. So, Greg, how are you tonight?
Thank you. I'm very good, Wendy. I'm also known as Lee's significant other for people that don't know.
And also, Wendy, I want you to just take it easy on Greg because he had his gallbladder removed not long ago.
Here we go.
I'm not.
In case you didn't know.
Hey, you know,
gallbladder's removed. He had
what kind of friend you?
His arms almost exploded. He's got diabetes. He can't eat the bread on burgers. Take it easy on Greg. He's very,
Never
delicate. He's
what kind of friend? He didn't even offer me his gallbladder. I was sick. I had to have my gallbladder together. You think Lee would say, "Look, I got a little. You could have part of my gallbladder."
I'm not going to take it easy on either of you. So get ready. You told
Okay,
me
we're ready.
everything on the table. So buckle up. Next, our special guest is the one and only Lee Priest, who we've had on here before, and now we're bringing him back because he is just that awesome. He really needs no introduction, but he is one of the greatest legends in the bodybuilding world, and everyone still follows his videos, his motivational talks, everything that Lee has done.
Motivational talks. I think
You didn't mean for it to be motivational, but they have been motivational. One of my athletes today actually sent me a video of her training with your voice in the background, saying that your voiceover was viral on Instagram right now. So yes, unbeknownst to you, apparently.
What am I saying?
Just F the haters, do your thing, like the normal Lee stuff.
No, Lee's motivation is when guys ask him, "Lee, what can I do for my legs?" "Train, you freaking," you know what I mean? He tells him,
That's my answer all the time.
"What do you think you do for your legs? Squat."
How can I get big arms? Train them. It's like, what do you want me to say? Because I'm sure if you go to the gym, you do barbell curl, dumbbell curl, preacher curl. You do all the curls there is. So when they ask me, "Lee, what can I do for my arms?" I'm like, train them. It's like, well, there's no secret. I don't know any secret thing to make your arms big. If you train them and they grow, good. If you train them and they don't grow, then go to the gym for the healthy portion of it, because not everyone that goes into a gym that lifts weights is going to build muscle. Not everyone's going to be a freaky bodybuilder.
Yeah.
So people have to accept that and face reality. No matter how many drugs you take, no matter what you do, you still won't get big and freaky. So just go train. If you enjoy training, enjoy the training. And if you happen to build muscle, that's a bonus. But if you don't, still do it for your fitness.
But they want to know what drugs you're taking. Lee and I are good friends, man. We've been together a million times and shit, and we've been, been away together in hotels, and never do we talk about drugs. Never. Oh, there's my boy, straight out of Jersey, Josie. That's my boy right there. We do a podcast together, straight out of Jersey with Joseph Potter. But we never talk about steroids, Lee and I. Never.
And I never did back in the day, too, when I used to, like, Paul Dillette lived with me. We'd all eat at the firehouse, Dillette, Cormier, Wheeler. Not once did we ever talk about what cycle someone was on or what drugs we were using, because it doesn't matter. Just go train. If you want to do them, use them, don't abuse them. And what I take might not work for you, and what he takes might not work for you. So when these people go, "I wonder what he's on, it's like, who cares? Just fucking go train. It's like,
but there's no secret sauce, though. They think like us guys that got jacked and stuff, we got some secret sauce or something like that.
They don't want to tell. Yeah. They won't tell you the truth. They keep it.
First of all, Lee and I both trained naturally for years. Yeah. I trained 23 years naturally before I ever took a steroid. So I was already jacked and built and everything. These other guys, after walking in the gym 2 weeks, "Hey, where can I get steroids?"
Yeah. They're on it already.
They're on it already.
Yeah. Both of you, we're gonna dive into some hot topics that I want to hear your opinions on. But before we do that, I have a little mini highlight of each of you that I want to show. So who wants to go first?
Leo, go first.
It's like, this is your life.
Remember this is you. Okay, so Lee, something that I want to share of you is when you won your last IFBB Pro win was 2006 Ironman Pro, and a lot of people talk about the show. So I want to just kind of show you off a little bit, just to kind of give everybody a reminder of your amazing physique.
That was the same year Lee got suspended for 2 years and for life, and then it all was.
Are you serious?
Well, that was after that show mid-year. I went and did the PDI show because the PDI show was like a month or two before the Olympia. I thought, why not? I pay for my pro card. I'm an independent contractor.
Yeah.
You can't compete there. I'm like, why not? That's what I do. I compete for money. You don't have a show on. The IFBB's not paying me a monthly contract. So I went and competed with the PDI, and that was the downfall of Lee Priest.
You know what? I'm so glad that you said that, because I was looking at your record, and this was your last IFBB Pro win. But then after that, I saw you did another organization, and I was like, oh,
I did NABA. Yeah, 7 years
that
later,
what it was?
came out of retirement and won the NABA Universe.
I was there. I witnessed it.
Oh my gosh!
He looked great too.
So right here, Lee, did you feel like you were peaking? Were you feeling like this was going to be your?
To me, like, I go into a show just doing the best I can. It's funny because I'd got runner-up at the Ironman 5 times. So the day before this, when they're having the big press conference and Lonnie Tepper's weighing us on stage and talking to the crowd, he's like, what's your prediction for tomorrow? I'm like, second place. So it's like, I always never took myself serious. When I did the Olympia, those videos for the Olympia, you'd see me saying, don't talk to me right now, Mitsuru. I'm training for 8th place, because I knew I was never going to win the Olympia. So to me, if you got top 10, that qualified you for next year. So I always had my sights set on 10th place, get the top 10. So anything above that, like when I got 5th and 6th a couple of times, that's just a bonus. So I was never one of these that ever said, I'm going in this show to win. I just got in the best shape I could, and then whatever happens, happens. People these days are like, I got to win it. I got to do this. And if they don't win, they get shitty at somebody else. And now you see John De La Rosa, like Derek, when he won the Olympia, getting death threats because he beat that other guy. His wife's getting death threats now. I just want to say these death threats only come from one sort of culture of people in the society. I'm not saying who, because that would be the say Lee, you're being racist, but these death threats do come from a certain part of the world, Middle East, where, you know, it's like a bodybuilding people, calm down. Your guy can get beaten on any given day. It's no reason to send death threats to people's families, for God's sake. Come on.
Yeah. I just saw that, actually. That was kind of scary, too.
Yeah, listen to it. It's just like two people competing. It's not John's fault he beat Mo or whatever, because any given day the judges are going to pick who they want, who they like. So just ease up. It's just a sport, people. It's not a life and death situation. Come on.
Yeah. All right, Greg, are you ready?
I'm scared, but I'm ready.
I found your interview with Tyra Banks. Okay.
Oh,
you're lucky she didn't let me pick your video, Greg.
And
that would be the one. Wait, you don't have the video of me biting the pillow and Lee. Oh, forget it.
The biting the pillow. Okay, I might have to find that.
We're examining unusual eating disorders that I haven't considered before. Now, one of the biggest myths about eating disorders is that they only happen to women. That is so not true. Greg is the opposite of an anorexic.
Oh, look at Greg.
He's what some people call bigororexic. And he was so compelled to get bigger and bigger that it nearly cost him his life.
Bigororexic.
Greg Valentino made a name for himself as the king of bodybuilding. But as with any great achievement, it came with a high price. Now, instead of being known as the man with the biggest biceps in the world, he's known as the man whose arms exploded.
How you doing? I'm Greg Valentino. I have the biggest arms in the world. No bull. I've been training 28 years. Earning these babies.
I love the attention, and the attention was all on me. People turn and come up to you, and girls poke at it to see if it's real, and guys give you respect.
So Greg began a 30-year bodybuilding journey.
Oh, God.
I'm only 5'5". I have small man complex, and I just said, man, if I can't grow taller, I'm going to grow bigger. And that's exactly what I did. I started taking steroids, and I'm not going to lie.
All right, Greg. Oh my goodness. Okay, talk to me. What the heck? How did you get on that show?
What were you thinking, Greg? What were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking. If I was thinking, that's older footage. That's before with the hematoma and all that shit. What was I thinking? I don't know. I was nuts. You know what I mean? That's like the footage was from like 99, 2000, and then that show I filmed in 2007. But yeah, look at that. Nice head. Holy shit.
Wow.
Nice head, like a fucking basketball.
So you're known as the man with the largest biceps.
Yeah, I'm known by a lot of stupid shit too. You know what I mean?
Well, tell me about this era of your life. Like, what is going on here?
Well, what it was is basically, I was a drug dealer, and I was a pretty big drug dealer. And I was dealing with mostly American stuff. And this is in the 90s,
Okay.
And when I was natural back in the day, till like 95.
Yeah.
All these guys would walk in the gym and he'd be talking to me and he'd be like, yo, dude, show me how to do biceps. And I would show him how to do biceps, any workout. And next thing I know, 6 months later, they're like fucking bigger than me already. You know what I mean? And because they're all taking shit. So one day I'm like, look at this, man. I got so much shit, just piled up bricks of fucking steroids, testosterone, you name it, I had it. And I just said, fuck this. So I took a box of anabolics first. And I just opened up one and I popped it in my mouth and said, well, that's it. I'm no longer natural, so now I'm just going to go nuts. Because I'm the kind of guy, like I always tell everybody, if I'm going to rob a bank, I want the fucking pennies. I want the fucking IOUs. I want it all. So I started going nuts. And I started dropping whole bottles. And, like I would take a full bottle of testosterone, which is 10 cc's, right, of 200 milligrams. I drop one on Monday, then I drop another one on Wednesday, and I drop another one on Friday. And then I'd stick Ganabol, which was equipoise, Dominican, equipoise, and I would stick that shit in there. So I'd stick it in the arms, and everything, and it got insane. And before you knew it, I was probably taking 6,000 milligrams of testosterone by itself. Now, that doesn't count the sustenance because I wasn't even counting. I'd get a few pretty little fucking Russian sustenance, and I'd smack a few of them in there, and I'd say, well, you can't stick 3 in this bicep without sticking 3 in that bicep, so smack open another 3 sustenance on top of the steroid shit. So I stick that in there, and before you knew it, as a natty, I was like 175, and I was in really good shape and I looked really good. But then I fucking got retarded looking, so I gained 100 pounds. So it was like 275, 278, the highest. But yeah, it was like Let me tell you something. After I got arrested and shit, and I couldn't do any steroids for a while. Dave Palumbo always makes jokes about this because I had like time release juice in me. I shot so much shit that shit sat inside me for like 2-3 years. Like I would slowly get smaller because I had so much.
You were like in drug hibernation mode.
People actually go to Greg's biceps and draw out 3 cc's. I could go to Greg's arm and take 3 cc's of test out and give myself a shot. Greg was just like a big bottle holding it. Let me
dip into the tricep and pull out some of that equipoise.
Oh my god!
So I shot it like that everywhere. People are synthol. I didn't do synthol. You want? It looks like synthol. I get it. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. But whatever. You want to think synthol? Who cares? I'm tired of it. It's 20 fucking something years ago. But I had so much testosterone in me. It was just sat in there. It took fucking forever to and my test levels were high. Fucking a year after I stopped taking everything, it was still high because I had so much test in me. Oh my god. And I loved every minute of it.
Are you taking notes, Wendy, for your Olympia prep?
Oh my god, no.
Don't do, Wendy. Let me tell you, don't do what I did. I was.
I'm glad you told me that because I was really thinking about it.
Wendy was ready to run.
Wendy, I tell a story all the time. Then my son hit me with a bat, right? With a
This is a real bicep right here.
What's that?
That's a real bicep right there.
There you go. Well, I still got real biceps now, but it doesn't look like that. But listen,
arms 10 times the size at the Olympia.
My son hit me.
What was that, Lee? What was that?
Come to Olympia, I expect to see your arms 4 times that size, like this.
God.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna
Valentino style.
disappear. It's a run for its money.
I had a hematoma, right? And that's what I drained in the
Yeah.
TLC show. That big balloon bicep. There's only one bicep looked like a balloon. So I drained the blood, right? And I had this big thing of blood, and I'm swirling it around. And I used to say, look, it looks like a murder scene, right? That comes from my son hit me with not purposely. I was spotting him doing batting practice. He was 9 years old. That same son right now is 34 years old. I can't tell you what he does. Late.
He's like in the secret stuff in the government. He can't tell
He's
you.
in the NSA. He's the NSA intelligence. But anyway, it's a joke.
No one knows now.
But anyway, so one day I'm standing, and I had this fucking hematoma, and it looked like Quado. Remember from the movie with Schwarzenegger, Quaid? You remember that thing that came out? It came out of his thing. So I'm standing there, and I'm in a deli in New York City, and I look, and it had all mirrors like this. You know, it was mirrored around. And I'm looking at deli, and all of a sudden I look at the side mirror, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I never noticed, but the fucking thing was hanging like a big tit. You know what I mean? And I'm looking at him going, oh, fuck. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, what? And it hit me like, holy shit, does this look bad? You know? So then that's when I got him. I was on the phone with Bob Bonham. And if you watch the TLC show, I'm on the phone with Bob Bonham. And I'm like fucking draining my arm, and I'm telling him, dude, I'm draining it, and I'm trying to record it at the same time because I'm on a phone with a cord because this is like 2000, you know. And I'm draining the fucking thing. I'm draining the thing, and then I did this show for the BBC called The Other Side of Bodybuilding. That guy takes too many steroids, all this shit, and they took that. They were in Bob Bonham's gym, and he was showing them the thing, and they're like, please, let's have that. Please, let us have that footage. So they took the footage, and they showed the footage of me draining the bicep. And you know that's when they did the whole thing. He almost died. You know what I mean? It was an infection. There was no infection. I didn't almost die. It wasn't. Well, there was no pus. There was no. It wasn't. There was no oil. It wasn't Synthol. It was just a big dead blood. A big fucking half-gallon jug of it. It was like it's crazy.
Oh,
but
wow.
if I didn't look at that deli, I swear to God, like I didn't. Like I was like, maybe don't look that bad.
You didn't feel it? Like you didn't feel it? You had to see it in the mirror?
No, I saw it. I knew it was there, but my brain didn't realize how fucked up it looked, you know?
Was it like painful? Because that sounds painful.
It wasn't painful, no. It's just like a dead... Remember in the movie Rocky, where Rocky gets that big black eye and he tells his cornerman, yo, Mick, cut me. And he cut him because you have to drink. And hematoma is just like, it's like a broken pipe underneath your skin, you know, broken blood vessels just fills up with blood. So it filled up with blood. And that's where they say.
I know the feeling, Greg. I know the feeling.
Oh God. Okay. I just have one question for you, Greg. Do you have any regrets?
No.
You sacrificed your life for the entertainment of all of us. We love people like you. We just
No, I didn't do it for like the entertainment. I'm nuts, you know what I mean? Like I was stupid. It's like a chick that keeps getting these giant implants. Now she's got 2 beach balls, and she thinks it looks good until one day she can't lay on her belly to go to bed. Until one day she looks in the mirror.
But I can't drink because they're like this.
Yeah.
With the lips. After a while, you just go too far. I didn't realize it was that bad. First of all, me injecting was bad enough, but then once you get the hematoma on top of it, it looked like a breast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was hard because it was full of blood until I did. And then when I drained it, I had a ball sack there. Yeah. So that's when I went and I got a cut, you know, to fix the ball sack. Otherwise, I would have had a ball sack there, you know? So that's what that cut is. Everybody's like, oh, look, he got his arm full, he had to get a cut out. No. The skin was tightened.
I did see some of that. I would show it. I don't want to get our video taken down. I want to make sure everyone sees this. So I'm, you know, but this is actually
Greg's like an episode of Botched.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fucking there because they called me and I wasn't going to go on that show.
Did they?
Oh, God.
No way. I'm not going on there. I know what you're going to do. You're going to make a fool of me. You're going to show my arm because I got the scar on my one arm, a hole. And they're going to do, well, we can't fix it, you know, because there's scar tissue around. But, you know, and then they're going to make me look like an idiot. Or, well,
I deserve the right to make myself look like a fool. No one else gets
I already made myself look like a fool plenty of times.
Right. And that's your prerogative.
Right.
Lee and Greg, this is like the perfect segue because we're going to start talking about some things going on right now. And I want to hear your thoughts. All right. Okay. So the first
thing, Kamala.
What was that?
I said, screw Kamala.
We're going to leave politics out of it because, you know, we don't want to. Anyway.
Let's talk about religion instead. That's much more.
Although, right. And although we may still get canceled here, I just want to get your guys' take. So one thing that is so like crazy right now is I feel like we are in this crazy era where people are, hang on one second. So we're in this crazy era right now where people are not looking like themselves, okay? And that is like it's like the weirdest thing ever, where people are going in and they're like changing their face and changing their, features and stuff like that. And I want to get your take on it, but I found this clip and I wanted to get just watch this really fast and then we'll.
Oh, glamour filter. Like this part, old glamour filter. Your entire face, contouring and reshaping in real time.
You guys know about this?
When we use filters for the purpose of beautification, we see this version of ourselves that might have a completely different bone structure, wearing lots of makeup, and
No, but I have seen commercials for people that are only in their 30s and they're already getting Botox.
Creates a big mismatch
crazy?
between our ideal appearance.
Well,
and
what I was thinking
appearance.
is
Glamour filter is a lie.
So the thing that what I was thinking, Greg, is when you were doing all of that, right? There were no like filters and Photoshop and stuff like that. It's like, you know what I mean? You're basically creating this, but now people don't have to do all these crazy procedures. They could just create something completely different than what they really are. So Lee, I'm going to start with you because I want to know your thoughts. Have you noticed this? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
I think it's stupid. It's like, to me, it's like if you can't look the way you look, yes, no one's ever going to be happy with how they look, with just nature. The way it is, you always, even if you're the most handsome person or sexiest woman, you probably still think I could be a bit better if I did this. So no one's ever happy. So I just don't get it, because I am who I am. You see me, I don't change my appearances. I don't have TikTok either, but it's like I just can't be bothered. I post a picture, I couldn't be bothered doing all that changing. I actually sat near a girl on a plane once, and she was an Asian girl. A picture of her and her boyfriend in a car. They're both sitting in the seat. And she's leaning over like this with him, and he's taken the selfie of them both. She sat there for over an hour. She would zoom in, change their teeth, zoom back so I see how it looked, zoom in, change the skin color. They were two Asian people. By the time she finished, I looked like two people from the south of America. It's just like, I'm thinking an hour changing all this. I'm thinking it's not really you, so I don't get why they're doing it. And I just think now people are either too scared to be who they are, even like looking the way they are. But I always found more to that. I've always been myself. Greg's the same. We say what we want to say. We don't do it to offend people. But if you ask us a question, we'll give you an answer. If it offends you, well, that's your problem. And I think these days, people are too scared to be themselves. Like I said, even in any type of setting, if they're with a certain group of people, I must act this way. Now I'm with this group, I got to act this way or they won't like me. So I just find if you can't be yourself and be true to yourself, who you are, the way you act or the way you look, then you're living a miserable life. Just like, stop trying to get the approval of others, because it doesn't matter. Even if you're the best person in the world and you help people, you do whatever, people are still going to hate you and talk shit. So 100%. Stop trying to live up to other people's expectations. Just be you, and the right people are going to gravitate towards you. The ones that don't, you don't need them. So forget all this fake shit and putting stuff on there to look a certain way or talk a certain way. Just be yourself and be happy.
It's very deceptive, though. These people are doing this shit and then meeting people. I remember before I met my girlfriend, I met some chick over online, and when I saw her in person, I was like, "What the fuck? That's not even the same girl." You know what I mean? And that's really I've been with her almost 18 years. So you're talking about that's before all this. You had a Photoshop on a computer, not on a phone. But the thing is that people. It's funny you say this, because let me tell you how fucked up society is. In 1 minute, we can't fat shame anybody. Nobody's ugly. There's no such thing as ugly, right? But then again, they're pumping out this shit. 30-year-olds getting like Botox and everything. You know what that shit's gonna look like?
18-year-olds are getting Botox.
But you know what that shit's gonna look like when you're older, when you keep getting it done, and you fucking destroy the muscles in your face, and you get scar tissue from constantly injecting your forehead and everything. It's stupid. But it's society's an oxymoron. Everybody's doing the most outrageous things. I mean, people die doing stunts just so that they can get like content. and be outrageous. Everybody's trying to be more outrageous than others, you know? And in 1 minute, you're showing these kids saying, you can improve your look, you can be better looking, you can do this, you know? And in the other crack in the mouth, they're talking about, come on, you can't fat shame. If somebody has a big nose, you know, there are people out there's beauty in big noses. You know, I'm just saying. So it's to me, it's all bullshit. It's you know, it's societal bullshit is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no pleasing anybody anyway at this point in the game.
Yeah. But how do you get around the fact that, like, for example, even like when you came out, you had the biggest biceps and you got all this notoriety, you were on all these TV shows. What happens, the byproduct of that is in that time, people are watching you get all that attention and they're like, oh my God, I want that attention. Okay. And then
right. You get all these other idiots, you know, shooting themselves. Like there was this story about, you know, I remember way back in the early 2000s, there was a story that I died, right? Because it was some kid from, I forgot, like, you know, Auckland or somebody somewhere else where they speak a different language. Yeah. And they put up my picture because the kid was supposedly like a fan of me, which I don't understand that. I know I look like Brad Pitt, but come on. But anyway, he was a fan of me. So he had my picture on his wall, right? So I guess that's what the parents were trying to show. But he died because he shot motor oil into his arms and he wound up dying. He thought that that's what I did because everywhere, oh, Valentino shoots oil on his arms. He's Mr. Oil. So what happens is then I got to see what it's like if I really kick the bucket because I'm looking at him get big. Fuck Valentino, that piece of shit's dead. Fuck him, I'll spit on his grave. I'm glad he's dead. He's fucking, So I'm like, holy shit, nice. You know what I mean? Nice.
Oh,
but it's all because of that article got translated wrong. They were trying to say this bodybuilder inspired this kid to shoot motor oil in his arm when I had nothing to do with it. I don't even know who the kid is, So I'm just saying, it's society's fucked today with all this stuff. I mean, you're big. Let me tell you something. You put Mr. Olympia in a arena somewhere, okay? You put him sitting at a table in Mr. Arena, and you put Sam Salik, who's never accomplished anything. Nothing against Sam. Sam, I love you. You're a good guy, okay? But Sam Salik is not one Mr. Olympia. He's not one Mr. Ugats. You know what I'm saying? You will see more people at his line will go out this door before they'll go out the door. Because today, you understand, we create these idols on the internet, and everybody gets like they get obsessed with that, and that's what they want to be. So now every kid's walking around with a fake fro, baseball hat on, trying to look like Sam.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever been to any of these expos, kids like that, look at Rich Piana. Rich Piana was just a cartoon character. He wasn't Mr. Olympia, but his line went out the door. And, you could see Dory Yates sitting at the next table and nobody's there. So,
but you were on both sides of that. So you see how, somebody could influence a generation to do stupid things. But you were accused of.
I told people don't do what I did. Look, I always say I'm an ugly motherfucker. Who the fuck would want to look like me? I had chicks coming up to me at the expos, and I'm like, I know why you're talking to me because I write the Ramblin' Freak, the top column and shit. And you think that maybe I can get you in the magazine because I'm an ugly motherfucker. I once said to the girls, "There's John Romano. Go talk to him. He's my boss."
We know, Greg. You were the Harvey Weinstein of bodybuilding.
Dude, I may have looked like
I'll get you in the magazine page.
I may have looked like Harvey Weinstein, but I didn't get the
Oh my gosh.
No. Ask John Romano. It's a true story. I pointed at two chicks that were fucking, and I'm like, dude, come on, I'm an ugly motherfucker. Why would you want to talk to me? Look at all these good-looking guys walking around.
Funny
that's
say,
before the internet.
Well, back in the day when the magazines were the big thing because there wasn't much internet,
Right.
I remember I used to bulk up, I'd get the 285, I'd be at Gold's or World Gym, faces all puffy, all the girls in there training, whatever, wouldn't even say hello. And it didn't bother me anyway, like I'm not here to pick up girls. But then as soon as I got in shape, hey Lee, how you going? Are you doing any photo shoots that you need a girl for the cover? And then I'm like, all of a sudden you get in shape, these girls want to talk to you, hoping they can get like in a photo shoot to get on the cover of a magazine with you.
Okay.
Yeah, but at least you look good, dude. I'm no Johnny Handsome. You know what I'm saying? I look like fucking Uncle Fester on steroids. So I'm like, trust me, when a chick's kicking it to me, I'm like, come on, what are you doing? You know, I know you don't like this. You just want you think I got money. You should go look at my cars or talk to Lee Priest. They'll tell you.
I'm gonna start with Lee on this, but I'm gonna ask you both. Okay, Greg, do you feel like you have really good genetics for bodybuilding?
You ask me now or Lee Priest first?
Just say yes. Just say yes or no. Yes or no.
I think I have excellent genetics. I know I do.
Okay, Lee, do you think that you have excellent genetics for bodybuilding?
Yes.
The answer, obviously, yes. Obviously. Okay, so Lee, I'm gonna start with you. In terms of genetics. All right, bodybuilding is obviously not for everybody, right?
Yes.
And I'm going to preface
even though they're giving out pro cards to make it for everybody who shouldn't be there. But
Forget about it. They're putting pro cards in the back of milk cartons today. It's ridiculous.
So yeah, like I want to talk about genetics a little bit because I have I'm going to preface this by just saying I feel like, you know, bodybuilding, there are certain people that are just not like genetically inclined to easily build muscle, easily get lean, and they have to fight their genetics so hard. And my kind of relation to that is like, I'm 5 feet tall. I will never be a basketball player. It's just not in the cards for me. You know what I mean? Everybody has something that like they have to fight their genetics so hard for, or maybe something that they're more inclined for. So Lee, over the years of you being a part of the sport, seeing people come and go, what are your thoughts on the whole genetics conversation?
Well, genetics are like, genetics and food are probably, and eating are probably the two most important things. I know everyone thinks it's steroids, but to me, from day one, I've always said steroids are like a 5%. They're like the icing on the cake if you have everything else, all the other things in line. And people always say to me, I send like those pictures you showed then, do you think I have what it takes? Do you think I have what it takes? I said, look, I don't know. When I was 13, I started competing. I was very lean, but did I know what I had, what it takes to be a pro? No, you just got to keep doing it. And I tell people, if you have the genetics, you have the work ethic, you have the heart, you have it up here, because mentally it's the hardest thing ever, more than physically. The mental side of it's one of the hardest to keep going through the diets, through whatever. So if you got all that and the genetics and you're training, you're eating, you're resting, I said, it will happen. It's like those things. You can go into a gym, there might be a group of 4 guys, mates. They all start training the same. They might start eating the same. They might even start doing the same gear or no gear. But there's going to be one in that group that all of a sudden is just going to be like, fuck, everyone will be like, he must be on gear. He's getting bigger than all of us. He just has the genetics. And that's the thing. It's like you said, you won't be a basketballer. But I have friends who won't be basketballers. But guess what? On the weekend, they go play it for fun. I have friends that go play golf for fun, do tennis for fun.
Right.
My friend that does tennis on the weekend or during the week, he's not saying, hey, Lee, in a year or two, I'm going to be fucking pro and beat Djokovic and fucking Nadal. But for some reason, every fucking dickhead that goes into the gym and takes a steroid thinks they can be Mr. Olympia. And if they're not, I'll just take more drugs. If I take more drugs, I'll get bigger. It doesn't happen that way. It's like I said, if you're natural, like Greg, he had a great physique when he was natural. From 13 to 15, I'd won everything naturally. So it's like, you're going to know, before you even touch a steroid, you'll know that this sport's meant for you. And like I said, sadly, majority of people who do think it's for them, and you'll have guys who might not have the best genetics, but they might be good for, say, regional shows, but that's as good as they're ever going to get. You'll have guys who'll win the regionals and get the state level, but that's as good as they're going to get. Then you have the ones that win the state, get the nationals, maybe get a pro card. But even get a pro card,
I was 152 there. No steroids, 152.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you're going to be a great pro either, even if you get these pro cards. So, even if you get a pro card, to win a pro show, to win the Olympia, you're talking about the top 1%. And that's in any sport, whether it be sprinting. If you went around the world, I'm sure there's thousands of people that are fast sprinters. But to be a Usain Bolt or a Carl Lewis or someone, you're talking about the top 1% of people. And all the drugs in the world ain't going to give you that genetic or that advantage to beat those type of people. So just do what you love doing, and if you love bodybuilding, do it. And if it happens to progress to that level, great. If it doesn't, you still enjoy it. But that's where you need to be honest with yourself. I've seen so many people give up relationships, give up a good paying job because they want to be a pro bodybuilder. 10, 20 years later, they're still pumping the roids and they still haven't got a pro card, and they've let their life go by. So, you got to find that balance and be realistic with yourself on what you can do. So,
I guess that's what I was referring to, because you made a good point. I mean, you're talking about people who want to do it for fun, because everybody can change their body and enjoy it, just like you can be a recreational basketball player, just like you can be recreational. But
wait, listen to what I say. This is not a sport. This is a display. Let me explain to you. The athletic part is in the gym. And who's to say, if I showed you a Pablo Picasso and I showed you a Michelangelo, Pablo Picasso did more of that abstract art. You know, that famous painting where it looks like a fucking high school kid did it, where it's like a, like a rowboat on the shore, right? And then you see a Michelangelo or a Leonardo da Vinci. Who's the better artist? It's a matter of art. Look, if we go, the word bodybuilding means build your body to the ultimate, right? Biggest, hardest, rippedest. Now, let me use two bodybuilders for an example.
Okay.
One was a phenomenal bodybuilder, and the other was a good bodybuilder. We'll use Frank Zane versus Marcus Rule. Frank Zane was Mr. Olympia, right? Marcus Rule never won the Olympic, but he won some good shows. And I like Marcus Rule. I like him, but Frank Zane's a weirdo. But so listen what I'm going to do. Listen what I'm going to tell you now. If you compare the two and use the word bodybuilding, and you went out to the street and you went in Times Square and you showed each person, look, here's two pictures of the bodybuilders. They don't know who the fuck it is. Look, here they are. I want you each one look at each one. You look at compare Marcus Rule with Frank Zane. Calves, Marcus Rule. Hamstrings, Marcus Rule. Thighs, Marcus Rule. Waist, torso. We'll give that one to Frank Zane. Okay? Lats, Marcus Rule. Pecs, Marcus Rule. Arms, bicep, tricep, Marcus Rule. But yet, who looks like they built their body to the ultimate? Marcus Rule. But yet, who was considered one of the greatest bodybuilders ever? Frank Zane. And that's because we don't judge a guy by did he really build his body to the ultimate. We did it by a genetic pleasing, what we consider a pleasing aesthetic physique, right? That's what Frank Zane is, a pleasing aesthetic physique. But Marcus Rule is more of what bodybuilding is supposed to be about, building your body to the ultimate. Because now you're talking about genetic disadvantages. Marcus Rule will never have a waistline like Frank Zane, just like Frank Zane will never have quads like Marcus Rule. Do you follow what I'm saying? So genetically, we have this genetic thing where you have to have an X structure. There are some people who are born with wider hips, thicker knees, thicker elbows, they don't have the broad shoulders. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is bodybuilding is judged on an opinion of what somebody believes this is what we're looking at. The criteria is that X factor, what Frank Zane has, that structure that we look at as the model for bodybuilding. But realistically, to build your body to the ultimate, Marcus Rule would destroy Frank Zane. Yeah. So it's an odd sport. That's why Joe Weider wanted this sport in the Olympics, right? And that's why guys like myself never heard of steroids when I was younger, because it wasn't in the magazines. It was a hush-hush subject, because Joe Weider's goal was to get the Olympia in the Olympics. And how could you put it in the Olympics? There's no athletic. You can't just on posing. Even in skating, they skate. Great skater can fall.
Does that annoy you, Greg? Because it annoys me when, like I said, years ago, when the magazines are out, Flex, Muscle and Fitness, MD, Muscle Mag, like even when I was 13, 14, I used to look at the training articles, what Gary Stridham was eating. You'd see one or two steroid articles, but to me, it didn't interest me. I'm like, it's all about eating and just busting your ass. Like, you knew steroids were there, but I never once discussed it or focused on it. But now so many people focus on the steroid aspect. Yeah. Look at the bodybuilding boards, message boards. All they talk about is trend. It's like, why do we talk about it so much? Look, NFL, all pro sports use steroids, but they don't talk about it. You don't see them discussing it on message boards.
No, but it's out there now.
Why does bodybuilding always have to talk about it? Look, we know it's there. Who cares? What someone takes, what I take and you take is going to be totally different. So why do we keep shooting ourselves in the foot talking about trend and steroids? But get back to the basics, the fundamentals, the mindset, the training, the nutrition.
Listen.
And if you have what it takes to get to that level, then start dabbling in it. But it's just gone out of control with
Lee,
steroids.
I'm 10 years older than Lee. So what you're talking about you know, I grew up in the you know, early 70s. I started lifting weights in 1972. When you saw the magazine, you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger standing like this, right? When go look at when Arnold Schwarzenegger won like the NABA universe. You'll see him standing there and a few other famous pro bodybuilders. And then the rest of the guys in the background all standing there look like swimmers. They look like they never touched, didn't even look like they lifted weights. Look like gymnasts. Because back in the 70s into the early 80s, like 81, 82, steroids was still that hush-hush. It didn't start, it started coming out in the magazines in the little, like early to mid 80s, you know what I'm saying? You started finding, the guy who trained Dave Palumbo was a kid I grew up with, okay? The first guy to train Palumbo. And his name was Peter Neff. He was a great natural bodybuilder. He won all these shows in the NPC, even the USA. And he said to me, I'm natural. And I was like, well, what's unnatural? If you look at the guys in the background, like when they show like him standing on a lineup and you see some of the guys in the background, they look like the guys in the very background. But right there, all you see is the main guys. But sometimes you'll see the guys in the background look like swimmers. Because these guys were the guys on the shit. And when this guy told me, you know, I'm natural, I didn't know what he meant. I thought he meant he was on, you know, I thought he meant he was a vegan. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know what that meant. I never heard of steroids. He told me hormones. And I'm like, what the fuck?
There was no silly vegans back in the 80s, Greg.
Okay, but Greg, I'm gonna have to just tell you, you did say that as soon as you discovered steroids, you went all out with it. You were like,
he was committed.
No, I did. Not when I discovered them. I knew I found out, but I was selling them, and that's when I went all out. Yes, because I was tired of seeing. I had this pride about being natural because, you know, I was really put together, you know, and I could beat guys on steroids. But then, you know, I seen these kids in the gym and they're all fucking jacked, and I was like, fuck this. I'm not against steroids. I'm 100% for steroids. I'm anti-Momo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that like these kids. Listen, you're 18 years old.
Wait, what's Momo?
It's an Italian word for like schmuck. You know what I mean? Listen, you get these kids. They're 18 years old, 17 years old. They've only had hair on their pichuli god for like a couple years. The last thing they need is to take testosterone. When I was 18 years old and my mother went to the supermarket while my father was at work and my sister was at school, I fucking, you know, shook hands with the general. You know what I'm saying? I fucking released the hostages. Yeah, released the hostages.
Thousands of them.
Because my 18-year-old self my testosterone was like, you know, release the hostages, let them go. And I'd be like, you know?
You released them.
Boy needs testosterone.
Oh my God.
You released all the hostages, but then there was like a mass murder. Hitler.
It was like
more than Hitler.
Oh my God.
It was a mess murderer. Get it? Not mess.
You figured it out.
Yeah, release
I tell young kids
that jerked off. But what the thing is,
I get the same that because young kids write to me. I'm 18, 19. I'm like, are you joking? I said, 18, 19. Why would you want to take a test? Your level should be at their peak right now.
Oh yeah, man.
Putting anything artificial in, you're only going to suppress your natural level.
That's
Why
the point I was trying to make.
And the excuse they get is because my friends are on them and this and they're taking it. So it's like, you don't need to be like your friends. Just do your own thing.
You know what I always tell them? Wait till your friend goes off. Watch what happens. Wait till your friend goes off. Look at me. I'm not on steroids. I have to take TRT. I just started taking them. Tell him why, Lee, because he had a gallbladder taken.
Gallbladder taken. But that's the funny thing because I'm like, if I remember, I had a shot like a week ago, and now I got this lump here. I put the shot in my shoulder, but the lump's gone down here. And I'm like, I've taken one since. I'm like, I don't need this. And people are like, well, how do you keep your size? It's like, well, I still train every day. I don't train like I used to.
You're a natural base.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you've done the foundation work, you can still keep it because people think, look at Greg and I now, you still got to be on gear to have muscle. No, you don't. If you're built the quality foundation muscle, it's always going to stay there as long as you do a bit of maintenance and stuff. Where I've seen guys who are built totally on steroids, and I used to think, why would anyone want to do that? They go on them, they blow up, they come off them, they go down. When I come off them, I might have dropped a couple of pounds of water weight, but I never lost any muscle.
Me too.
The strongest I ever was.
I'm still jacked. What the fuck? I'm in a hospital for 2 weeks, can't eat food. I'm dying over there, and, you know, and I'm still jacked. You know what I mean?
My friends used to hate that about me because when I got ready for contests, I'd eat 6 meals religiously. Off season, I sometimes only have 2 meals a day. If I start doing stuff, I don't want to stop and eat. And my friends are pissed. They're like, "How the fuck can you only eat a meal or two and you still keep that size?" I'm like, I don't know. It's like
you're genetically inclined.
We built it naturally. If you have a natural foundation, you know, it's like, you ever watch these TV shows, Earth After People? Like, you know, if there was a stream in New York City and shit like that, and there's no more people, in 100 years, that stream will reappear.
And the bushes take over.
Right. Well, that's what happens to you. If you don't work out, you go spend your whole life working out, and then all of a sudden you just stop.
Yeah.
Your shit's going to go fucking, it shrinks. And then if you're eating like a gavone, you're going to get fat. Sorry, Wendy, I'm a Guinea from New York City, so we have our own little words. You know?
I'm Italian. I'm a Fortino. I'm a Fortino.
There you go.
I want to know why that happens. Is this the joke from God? Because I've always said, listen, you build a great physique and muscle, right? And just say me at my peak, late 20s, early 30s, when I had the most muscle on me. And if I stopped training, why couldn't it just atrophy a little bit? Like if your arms were 22, they'd still go to 20. You'd keep all this muscle. But why is it if you completely stop, all your muscle just goes away? But if you get fat, the fucking fat stays forever. Why the fuck does that happen?
You never lose fat cells, and your muscle cells just shrink.
But why can't the muscle stay and the fat disappear?
I know. I listen. I agree with you.
Question for God. That is a question for God. I will say, to tack on to what you both said, like, that is a question for God. To tack on to what both of you guys said, like, I think also to your point, people don't realize that, you know, once you start putting exogenous things into your body, whatever your endogenous hormone level production is going to be suppressed. And I don't think people realize that when they enter the sport. They think it's just all going to be good. They're just going to, you know, do stuff to their body and it's just going to make them better and better. But you get, like, what I say is like you're on a clock, because eventually as you suppress your own production, you need more and more just to get results. And if you don't have the genetic inclination to be like a Lee Priest, right? Or a Greg Valentino.
You don't want to be like me.
You don't want, but Lee, I mean, Lee, no offense to Greg, but Lee has, you know, I mean, everything that Lee has accomplished in the bodybuilding world. I mean,
no. I'm the first one to say Lee's the greatest.
I mean, he's one of the greatest of all time. And what you've accomplished is because, you know, you weren't like spending all this time suppressing what your body was doing. You're genetically inclined to do this. And I guess that's the point I was trying to make earlier, is doing it recreational is one thing, but doing it at your level is a whole nother story.
I've seen women too, Sad. I remember back in the day, you know, when like all the thyroid drugs come out, T3, for example. A lot of girls back in the day, or when I was with Laurie, they had that Galaxy Quest contest, remember, where they do all the obstacle courses and that. And I knew so many of her friends that took T3, and to get in shape, because they were sort of lazy on the diet or didn't want to do the hard work. And that's the thing too. Greg will tell you, no, you can't get past hard work. I don't care if you take growth hormone, because growth hormone can help burn body fat. Blame butyrol. Look, yes, that will to an extent help, but nothing's going to beat burn body fat like a clean diet, busting your ass doing cardio, and busting your ass in the gym. There is no easy way, so stop looking for it. But all these girls discovered T3 and that, and I saw so many of them take that much that when they stopped, their own thyroid level had shut down and they went boom, and now they've got to be on T3 for the rest of their life. And that's the same thing a lot of young kids are doing now. Look at the testosterone level on young men who don't even take gear. Now you get the ones that take it, they've got to be on TRT for the rest of their life.
Yeah, but here's
the mid-20s on.
When Lee Priest, let me just say this. When Lee Priest was at his prime, tell him how much you weighed, Lee. Well, what were you weighing? 197, 198 Showtime?
Yeah, like I was when I won the San Francisco, my first pro show, I was 199. And it was funny. I come off stage and people go, "What did you weigh?" I said to them, "What do you think I weighed?" They're like, "Oh, 235. I'm like, 199. And that's why I said I always made the joke with Chris, because Chris got second, Dexter was third. When we're backstage, I'm like, "Chris, what did you weigh?" He's like, 260. I'm like, "Oh, you got beat by a guy under 200. He's like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, but see, wait a minute. I wanted to make a point, but you got to understand something. Lee was 199. Today, guys, Lee's height are 240, and they have to keep, because today these guys are taking so much shit and taking stuff for every process of the body. And it's not just that, we come from the era, take some D-ball test, that kind of shit. These guys are taking every peptide, every, growth hormone, all these other different, drug to suppress your cytidrin, to suppress your cortisol.
Insulin, all that crap.
But I mean, like, Lee, today they had the 202 class. It didn't last. They had to make it 212. Okay? And I know a guy, I'm friends with a guy who's 5'1", and he's 255. It's just...
5'1"?
Yes, but wait a minute. Has the human being evolved since Lee Priest was competing? Yeah. Or do you think that... Come on, you can tell right now. Look at all the guys in the Olympia. I mean, everyone. There's nobody...
I've always said there shouldn't be a 212 because look at Hardy, look at Derek, Sean Clarita. They've all done well in the open. And people are like, well, if there's no 212, these guys wouldn't compete. I said, listen, if you love bodybuilding and competing, just because they don't have a 212 class, you'd still compete. And the good thing is...
But they're not 212.
The best of the best would be competing. We're not dumbing it down. Or you can't go in the open. We'll make a special class for you that you can stay.
Well, but I do have to say, Keon Pearson has one of the most incredible physiques. I am such a fan of his physique. But I think personally that he should be competitive in the open.
He will be. And that's the thing is he will be. And the thing with Keon is if there was no 212 or there was no classic or whatever, he wouldn't have quit. He would have kept going and he would have, of course, you've got to compete with these bigger guys. Who are 270. You push yourself harder. You push yourself harder to get there. So it's like, say the Olympics where you got Usain Bolt running 9 seconds, something, or any sport. They're not going to, the Olympic Committee's not going to go, well, to win the gold medal, you've got to run 9, or to get runner-up in the Olympics silver, you've got to run 9 point. Whereas bodybuilding, oh, you can't do well in the open, we'll make a class for you. The Olympics isn't going, oh, you can't run 9 seconds. Oh, okay, we'll make a 12-second class for you. Yeah. So you can go to the Olympics still. It's like, stop giving out awards for everyone. The best of the best get on the pro stages to compete with the best. Stop making classes.
But you change the sport. Look at the best look at great bodybuilders. Yourself, Lee Priest, Lee Labrada, Sean Ray. I mean, you can keep going down, with all those guys. Those guys were all under 200 pounds.
I do want to talk about that. Actually, I did talk to Sean Ray, and he helped to bring it was 201, and now it's 212. But his goal was to really promote more of the classic physiques, and that was kind of the goal with the lighter class. So I don't know. I just feelings about that.
Nobody competes at that weight anymore. That's the problem.
Just have open and classic. The rest can just get better to compete in the open or do classic. You don't need a 212 because then what about for the poor people who can't make 212? Okay, we'll make you a 195 class. Where do we stop just so everyone can get a fucking award? It's like, knock it off.
I understand, but my point is that the human being hasn't evolved since Lee Labrada was in there, since you were in there, since, guys like that were all in Samir Banu, fucking all these guys, great bodybuilders.
They forget NASA, even at his biggest, when he should have beat Dory in 97, still looked good. Dillette, for as big as Dillette was, still had great shape. Now guys are getting bigger.
But that's why, Lee, you're giving me the exact reason why it's like the sport of bodybuilding, to me, it's an opinion. Because there's plenty of guys say, no way should fucking Dorian win. That was Nasser's show, right? No way should Nasser have won. That was Dorian's show. You know what? There's guys who fucking will tell you, oh, no. So-and-so had that show. Flex Wheeler would have had that show. Kevin Levrone had it easily. I'm just saying it's a matter of opinion. As a judge, if you went into Central Park and you handed out pictures to each guy, each person would pick a different person. It's a matter of opinion, and we know that sometimes that opinion is definitely,
Well, that's like anything. How many times you watch the Olympic Games? And I watched the gymnastics or ice skating in the Winter Olympics, and you'll see someone do something. You're like, wow, that's perfect, and they get a low score. I see somebody else do something, and they have a little stumble, and they get a higher score because it's all done on judges' preference.
But this is not judged on merit, though. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not merit. It's not what you did a triple axel for. You know what I mean? Okay, you fell darn it, but whatever. It's not judged on merit. You know what I mean? Of course, every sport has whenever there's judges that it's not like football, which you score more points than your other team, you win, or baseball. But whenever there's judges involved, even in boxing, you'll see, sometimes if it's a close fight, the wrong guy gets the call. You know what I mean? But you're not really judged on merit in bodybuilding. You're judged on an opinion of what a physique should look like. And how many times, Lee, we've seen at shows. I've been at shows.
Who you are and who you know, and if you've been a good boy.
And what gym you train at. You know, I'm not saying what, but I've seen a lot of controversial decisions, and I've seen shit right in front of me where I've talked, listening to what they were saying, right in front of me where somebody was not supposed to win, and they placed him not even first, second, they placed him below that, like fourth,
Well,
but
I'm just gonna like say that despite all of that, okay, I want to just inject the fact that I am, regardless of whether or not I place high or whatever, I am so grateful for the ability to like compete, and I feel like it is like a blessing, even like with all that. I think that when you get out there and you compete and you get to a high level, placings are like a dime a dozen, right? But being given the ability, like the platform to be able to even do this and connect with awesome people like you guys, all of this is the result of really just one day I just like woke up and I was like, I'm depressed because I can't run track and my foot is hurt. I'm just going to jump on a bodybuilding stage. Next thing I know, it's like all these opportunities is kind of like lead you down a road. So I think people do get so caught up in placings. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we have this platform, which is pretty damn awesome,
I think it was for the love of the game. I competed for the love of the game. I won a lot of trophies that are useless to me now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I sold all my trophies and gave all the money to animal shelters. I didn't want any trophies. I was like, I don't need to look at that. And the money went to animal shelters, or young kids brought them.
Did you really?
Yeah, he's good with animals.
Did you really?
Sean Ray and them started rumors. Lee must be in trouble money-wise. It's like, I had, in all the years I've moved, I kept my trophies in boxes. They'd get broken. I never put them out. They're always in boxes. So for 20 years or more, they sat in the box. I'm like, what's the point of keeping them? I put them up for auction. Some got a couple of $1,000s or more. And
are you serious?
I gave the money to animals.
He's really good with animals. He's got a lot of animals.
People would send me photos. Lee, here's your trophy in our gym. That's inspiring people. So to me, my trophy in a gym inspiring people to train is better than keeping it in a box in storage. So
in your garage.
Yeah,
you are like this. You're like the sweetest asshole I've ever met.
Oh, I mean, asshole. It's very sweet. I'm kidding.
Okay, Greg, you are. No, just kidding.
No,
I've eaten Lee's asshole. It's very sweet.
And that's why I don't know why people get so upset with other people when people win, because it's like, if you love bodybuilding, I hated competing. I had to compete because of the contract. So every time I competed, it was just for the fans. Go out there, let the fans see you. You get to go to the expo. That's what I loved. The competition side itself, I hated it because, like Greg said, we're all different physiques up there. This guy might win, Flex Wheel has beautiful shape. But me getting second to Flex, Sean Ray thought I was going to beat him at that show. But it's so funny. Sean actually came over to me at the 97 Ironman. He's like, I think you're in better shape than Flex. You might get my boy today. And Flex sort of heard him, so Flex comes walking over. He goes, Lee, I'll admit you're in good shape. But he's like, but because of who I am, I'm going to beat you. And then he walked off. I went,
that's what I mean. Somebody could be in better shape, but because of Flex's structure and his name, you know what I'm saying, he may get the nod. I mean, it's not fair.
Never let it get to me because I knew, as long as I knew, I died at 100%.
Right.
100%. As long as I know I gave it my all, the placings didn't bother me. I'm like, this is the best I can be, so this is it. Okay. I let the fans speak. Because like, if you're up on stage and people like you, if it's that bad, it's a bad screwing, people can see. But if it's close, I just let the fans say. And they're going, if fans love you, they're always going to say, he should have won no matter what, or he should have won. So I just went out there and had fun. I didn't take it so serious. But people would get so upset if you beat other people. I'm like, who cares? I beat you this week. Next week, you might beat me. Who cares?
People still talk about your physique. I mean, your physique is timeless. When you post, I love it when you post old school clips, training, stage stuff. Or I think maybe you collaborate with people who share it, and you're just kind of accepting the collaboration.
I know it's just share these, and actually get in trouble for that sometimes because somebody will do a nice montage of me, and they might put a nice song to it. I'm like, that's nice, so I share it. And people go, oh, look at Lee sharing clips of himself. I'm like, well, someone went through the trouble to make this nice little video. I just shared it on my wall, and I get in trouble for doing that. Oh, you just love yourself, don't you?
I've got the same show.
Yeah, actually, I do.
I've done shows, television shows, right? And it's me on the TV. So I'll put a clip out, and like, you know, YouTube would be like, you can't do that. It's copyright. But it's me.
That's how I lost my YouTube channel.
It's me.
Yeah, well, I have videos of me. Like, I take videos of myself every now and then, where it's just having fun in public, or car shows and that, bodybuilding shows. That is my footage. I'll put it on my YouTube. Somebody will take different clips from my videos and make like a motivational one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's nice. So I shared it on my YouTube, a couple of them, and I couldn't use my YouTube. I lost my monetization for like 3 months because I was sharing other people's videos. But I'm like, but they're my videos. They took my videos, made a video. I'm only sharing my video, and YouTube fucking.
That's what I mean. It's happened to me many a time. Even from movie clips or from movies or TV shows I've been on, I put a clip on and it's me, and I get fucking this like, oh no, you can't do that. And I'm like, but it's me. You know what I mean? That's me talking. You know?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys, honestly, I could talk to you forever. I hope that both of you will want to come back, because
we'll come back definitely together.
There are so many things that we did not cover that we still have to.
We've been pretty good. We haven't got your channel shut down, so we should be able to.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know. Hopefully it stays up. No.
Me and him together, trust me, we're a team.
Oh yeah, you two are so funny together.
We're nice this time. We're just feeling out the area. Okay, next time we come back with the vengeance.
Oh, you don't have to hold back. I'm here for it. Don't worry, I'm here for it. I can handle it. But before we go, I'll give you guys the last word. So, Greg, some last words for your fans. Go for it.
Just live your life, man. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just live, be happy. Don't let anything depress you, because it's you're banging your head against the wall over things that you cannot control. Only make your head sore. The situation remains the same, and that's the way it is. And if you got somebody in your life giving you trouble, we can force them to be with you. Just moveon.com. You know what I'm saying? And don't let everything get to you. I learned a long time ago. You sit in a jail cell, and you start realizing life is precious. So don't think bad thoughts about yourself. You know what I mean? And just live a good life. That's all I can say. Bodybuilding is this much of my life. I'm so much more than bodybuilding. And Lee, I know Lee very well. He does so much more than bodybuilding. The man is so capable, so much more. So, and I'll let him tell you that.
Last word, Lee. The last word.
I agree with Greg. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just enjoy your life. But like I said before, just be yourself and have fun no matter what you do. And if you find something you're passionate about and you love it, you're going to excel at it, because it's not like a job. So if you're in a shitty job right now, yes, it's hard to find new work, but try and find something that you really love. So when you go to work, you're inspired, you want to go. And also, like Greg said, time goes so quick. And I've been guilty of it. We get online and we'll get into stupid arguments and stuff. And I sometimes catch myself, I'm thinking, I've been arguing with this idiot because it entertains me for half an hour. But yet somebody like Greg or Jimmy or my mum, I'm like, shit, it's been a couple of days I haven't said how you going. So I'm thinking, if you got loved ones out there, family, friends, every day just send them a message. Say hi, how you going? Send an emoji, because, when you lose people, you can't get them back. And I figure we'll spend hours online arguing with people we don't know over stupid shit. Absolutely. And ignore the people who mean a lot to us and the ones we love. So get out there and just send a message to the people you love and family every day. And you still argue with the other people online, but make sure you get the inner circle first and then go argue.
Make peace with yourself. I can't stand when people beat themselves up over the stupidest little things.
I thought you were going to say make love
to yourself. A goddamn chance.
I do that regularly.
What's that?
I love to myself regularly, Greg, and I beat myself up over it.
And on that note, neither of you go anywhere. I want to say goodbye on the other side. But to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining. This has been so much fun. Like I said, we're going to have these two amazing gentlemen back. And until next time, we will see you guys on the flip side.